All right, hey there, we are back. Nine-layered Nige is there waiting for us. Good to have you. Okay, wait, it doesn't look like we're video streaming. Looks like we got sound. Good morning, Todd. Hey, guys, thanks for being patient. We just got back from a, oh my God, like a hair raisin journey. Man, I feel like I'm just out of sorts. It was a whirlwind Easter. Let's just say that. We made it down to visit the family, and then my vehicle promptly broke. Broken head gasket. So I'm a better computer guy than I am a mechanic. At any rate, what I do know is this: once the head gasket breaks, you're done. You're toast. So oil mixes with water. Male mixes with female, just causes a disaster, and I think we'll get this undone. And anyways, that truck's gone. So then I had to find my way back at 3 dogs, that I need to get. So let me just make sure that we are actually streaming here. Let me know if you guys can hear or not. Again, thanks for your patience. I do appreciate it. Oh, okay. So there we go. I can see that we are indeed there. Let's get this set up over here. Well, I'll tell you what, I moved my computer. My computer weighs about 18 million pounds, and I move this thing. I take it with me so I can keep working, and by the time I get back, my settings are all trash. So let me fix this for you guys. Well, I'll tell you what, I moved my computer. My computer weighs about 18 million pounds. There you can hear me in the background. Okay, let me turn that off so you don't have to. All right, so anyway, so we're going to get into the swing of things here in just about a second. Again, thank you for your patience. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and do one of these things. I'm going to bring this down to size. Bring this over to here. So this is all using what's called the OBS software. Oh my God, look at that guy. So this is all using OBS software. So you essentially what you're doing is you're moving frames around and doing your thing. So, okay, so Nigel says hello. Nigel can hear me. We got Todd there. We'll see if anyone else pops in. All right, so let's get to business here. We've got kind of had a lot going on. I'm all self-conscious today here. Whoops, let's do this. This is so small. Now the problem is I made this thing so damn small, it's not usable. Hold on, give me one more second here. Okay, God, what a hell of a live stream here. Okay, anyway, there we go. So, okay, popping back over to here. Let's go our week in review here. Really, everything was just kind of overshadowed last week by, of course, frame pack, which we covered last week. I didn't get any stuff that came through of people sending their things, so I have nothing to report back to you about what people have done with it. But again, just seeing, as always, a lot of cool stuff over on Reddit. You know, Reddit is always a good place to find stuff, but I'll tell you, Reddit is scummy. So, oh, that's pretty. Woo, that's kind of sexy. Yo. All right. So obviously frame pack is quite good. Let's see what they're going on with this one here. Yeah, I mean, that's just amazing. Oystein is here. So hey guys, we have like some AI royalty here. We have one of our, what do you call it? A celebrity. Oystein showed up here. Oystein's actually working on a project with me that we're going to be releasing to you guys. That's going to be exciting. He has become like the Laura King over here, and so we're going to be working on some stuff together. We'll let you know about that soon. But yeah, okay. So anyways, that was last week. It was all frame pack. It just overshadowed the High Dream, overshadowed all that other stuff. Let's move on here. Okay, everyone having so much trouble with Roop, and finally, I just went ahead and paid $10 to get some credit over at Colab. You know, I forget these things. So there's multiple ways that you can use Colab, and one of the ways, of course, is by actually going to Google Colab, and Colab. You know, you buy credits like anything else. You can throw stuff in there, and it lets you use their server. And so this is where a lot of the mistakes that problems people have been having have been coming from. I kind of overlooked that because I tend to do more stuff like this. Let's pop on over to wrong one here. Where the hell am I? There we go. And when you're in your normal command terminal, you have something that's called Jupyter Lab. Well, if I could type right. And Jupyter Lab is essentially the same thing as Colab. So you're going to see it's going to install it. It's the same thing. You get like your .ipynb file, and then you do one of these things, and it's going to load up a screen in your browser like this. And it's the same thing. So you can find your .ipynb file, whatever, and load it in here. So I had actually initially fixed it on this, and then, you know, didn't have credits to go to Colab. The only real reason I ever use Colab, and I guess locally, is just if I want to get code that I'm like, okay, I'm struggling with getting something working, and let's just get Colab's like it's like having an environment where someone's already built something. It's done, you know it'll work. You go to Colab and you run it, okay, and you know, and you can change up the code within there. But I really don't have a whole lot of massive use for Colab. But again, of course, when we go over here to the one online, you're renting GPUs. So I can certainly see. Anyway, the bottom line, blah, 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 blah. We fixed all of that over here. And the problem really just comes down to dependency issues. And I think there's some comments on here that maybe someone left. Anyway, you can find the answers to what was going on with that, and it's just basically dependency stuff. And so things change, and then we have to update the dependencies, blah, blah, blah. And I also changed it for the AMD. If you guys don't know the difference between the AMD stuff, essentially when you're you know, Macintoshes, for one thing, don't use NVIDIA. They use AMD, okay? So essentially it's kind of like the same install, but without an NVIDIA card. And it also is more Linux based, so they use .sh files. So I don't know, where are we going with that? The bottom line is the Roop had some problems with the Mac and the OS, and it's the same thing. Same fix for Google Online Colab is the same fix for this. I've also updated it on the website. Okay, we did this silly little video last week. Yeah, it'd be nice. I did one where you could actually see the images, like there, you see, it kind of pops in. It'd be nicer if you could get a little bit better. But again, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, and like I said, I was dealing with vehicle issues and being stuck in Oregon. Of course, we got the AI Brews Weekly. This is a nice page. I've been communicating with this guy. You know what you guys could do for me is tell this guy what an awesome page he is and say, hey, you should work with Get Going Fast. Oh, I didn't even have you over there. Shit. Sorry about that. AI Brews is... So you didn't even see any of the other stuff I was talking about. God, Okay, so we did this. This was the one I was telling you about, the with the tattoo and all that. You can kind of see it popping in. Boop. Right. It'd be nice if you could get it better. But still, that's pretty cool for, like, you know, just sitting down, just between loading the thing, getting it done. It's like 5 minutes. Okay, but anyway, we popped on back up here to AI Brews. What you guys could do, this is a great site, and I really recommend you support this guy. I really recommend you look at stuff. It's fantastic. He does a great job. What would be great, too, is tell him, say, hey, you should work with Get Going Fast, because I've got, like, I'm going to tell you, I've got, like, 4 times more subscribers and followers than this guy, but I really like him, and I think we could work together. And I've sent him some stuff and said, hey, let's work together. You know, I'll be the official, you know, you'll be my official news thing out here, and then you put a little thing and get going fast over there. So maybe if you guys hit him up, he never responds, but you know, maybe you hit him up and say, hey, I love your stuff and I love get going fast. You guys should work together. But anyways, great page. I recommend supporting him, even though he doesn't recommend me at all. It's okay. One-sided relationship, but I like his stuff so much that it's fine. So okay, let's move on here. We got our Reddit open. Reddit, okay. And then I think this oh yeah, we got into Dia. So let's take a quick look at Dia. Somebody had said to me that they're like, oh, they were so excited about Dia, and because of voice cloning, and so that was like their big. I was talking up Kokoro, and I was talking up Zonos. Zonos, of course, is the one I use most of all because it's got really good voice cloning. And they were like, oh, this one's great. And I don't know why they were talking it up like because it stinks. Like the voice cloning in Dia is broken. However, all of this stuff is all this stuff works. The S1, S2. So let's see if we can. I've got a lot of AI stuff going on, but let's see if we can generate here. So this is all cool. Again, my problem with things that you can't clone is, first of all, you're just at the whim of you always got a different voice. And I need to do social media stuff that I'm getting a consistent thing. I don't know if you guys know this project I've been working on. It's called bumboboom.com. I recommend you go check it out. And I bought a website for this. It's got its own YouTube page. And it's just all using... and I'm Darla Jean Boo. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Is that showing up on there? And I'm Darla Jean. That's not even showing. Let me see if I can get that. But the bottom line is that this is all using our lip syncing software, using our voice cloning stuff. And I have to have it be consistent. Let me see if I can get you some audio here. So they claim this week she joined an all-female Blue Origin crew, which was the first of its kind. But online, a clip started making the rounds that showed the crew opening the capsule from the inside. Then afterward, Jeff Bezos walks up with... I mean, to me, that's incredible. She looks really good. And what's kind of funny about this is I've had people online who don't like... Because you know how people are. Like, it doesn't even matter what you're reporting on. You can be reporting on a cardboard box, but if they think you're a conservative, they'll be like, fuck you. You know, and if they think you're liberal, they'll be like, you're libtard. What? So, like, you could... You know, people dogging on this gal, and I sit there and I chuckle. I'm like, she's not real. Right? But the bottom line of that is... I can't do a project like that with Dia because you're going to be getting a different voice every time. It can't be consistent, and then I can't clone it. So fun one to play with. Basically, to do it, you put your speaker 1, you put your speaker 2, and you put their stuff in there. And then, of course, it's got all these fun emotions, which I guess it doesn't have a list of them here. To do it, you got to go over to Dia. You got to go to the Hugging Face space. No, you got to go to the GitHub, and then you can get a list of these. But again, fun app to play with. Not exactly what I would call practical at this point, but I do think you should keep your eye on it. Okay, and we went ahead, and because it's not a big powerhouse thing, but it is fun. This is free for all prairie dogs. So as long as you're, I mean, even our smallest members can get hold of this and play with this. Oh, here we go. Got laughs, clears throat, sighs, screams, inhales, exhales. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. And let you guys know that you're welcome to guide the conversation here if you've got questions. I'm going to just kind of keep blathering through the rest of this live stream. But if you have stuff, let me know. We'll pull out and focus on it. So that was Dia, okay, and yeah, and so free for things. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the week to come. Oh, you know, we had one other one that I put up here we should talk about. This thing, I just put this up. This Congress passed a deepfake revenge law. So this is a U.S. thing, as pressure builds could face-off software be next. So essentially they passed a law saying that if you do consensual non-consensual nudes of a person, you could actually go to jail for that. And and that's probably fine. But I mean, I think this came about by like some teenage girls that got hazed at school and got humiliated, and so they've passed laws to protect this. We know that face swapping software has been on. I mean, all this AI stuff is just always on lock for getting regulated. Okay, and what text to speech is one of those. I think that's one of the reasons that it's hard to find a good cloning thing. I watch text to speech, and people get visceral when you talk about text to speech stuff. They're like, "Why would you want to do that?" That kind of thing. And we saw with face swapping, we saw Roop get taken down, we saw Reactor get taken down. So we know this stuff's real. Okay, I'm zooming in and out here. We know this stuff is real, that people are actually going after this stuff. Where did we go? But this is big. So this is, U.S., of course, always guides. It doesn't always, but a lot of it has high influence upon the world. So you're going to see more and more of this kind of stuff taking place. So I don't know what that means for our rope lives and our fart fusion apps and all that kind of stuff. We'll see what happens. So keep your eye on that. Be really careful with what you're generating. So like right now we do celebrity stuff, and you can put a celebrity on a face. I mean, you know how all these laws go. It could be like, well, right now it's to protect, teen girls from revenge porn. And then later on it stretches out to be like putting anybody's face on anything, could get you. So I just kind of keep your eye on what's going on with this. And be careful about what you're generating and what you're doing. Really, as always, pay attention to your laws, your local laws, what you can do. Here on Get Going Fast, we help you with software, but we don't condone unethical use of any face swapping software or any of the tools we use. Nor do we really show you how to do unethical stuff with that either. But we help you get stuff installed, and then your morality is up to you. All right, let's move on to our flagship project for the week. So this is actually going to be a pretty easy one. We're just going to go back to our chatbots. I think I really watch as these projects go by. You see it kind of. I think you'll start to notice it goes through a loop. Like we'll get a big jump in video and image applications, okay, and then we'll get a big jump in lip syncing application, and then we'll get a big jump in text to speech, and kind of meanwhile chatbots are kind of doing their thing. But I think what it has to do is companies focus on certain things. And they say, once we've reached this milestone, now we're going to go work the next to bring it up. So it kind of is like a chain, with your top tier stuff getting done first. And chatbots are just kind of one of those things that they're always kind of consistently being worked on. We overlook them a lot because we're spending so much time with the video and the image generation. So, of course, we did some stuff with SillyTavern here, which is cool. If you have time to work on SillyTavern, great, go for it, But I'm happy with just a straight Kobold CPP. And let me go ahead and, load. Where did we go? Good Lord. Okay, let me go ahead and load up Kobold CPP so you can get kind of an idea what we're looking at here. This is the repository it comes from. Really easy to download. It's literally just a single file, which is one of the beautiful things about this app is that you don't have to have a ton of stuff for it. So I'm kind of distracted here as I'm grabbing something in the background. Let's do this. Okay. Real easy software. You just go down here to your download the latest Kobold CPP exe. Click that. It's going to take you over to here. And then just grab the latest version. And they are always updating this stuff. This is a great site. Okay. Just grab, you don't even really have to, they have the CUDA 12. Supposedly it makes it a little bit faster, but I haven't seen any difference. I just grabbed the Kobold CPP .exe one. You also got your Mac for your ARM or for Linux and all that stuff. And literally you just load it, and let's see, mine will take a second to load up here, and it just pops up in your browser. So your task is going to be to get that installed and then to go over to huggingface.co, okay? And what we're going to do over at Hug and Face is you're going to just start looking for models. And so let me give you some ideas of things to look for. Lunaris is a good place to start. You know, the model's been around for a while, but it's a good one. And you want to find ones that say GGUF. Okay, so those are quantized models. Notice this guy Bartowski. Look for models from Bartowski. See this guy Mr. Addermacher. Look for stuff by Mr. Addermacher. Okay, Cognitive Computations is another guy who's been around forever. Look at his stuff. Again, you want the GGUF stuff. And so, again, when you find something you want, you can look at the files and the versions and then find the different quants. Okay. If you're running a 4090, you can, on an 8 gigabyte, you can run all the way up to Q8. You don't need the F16. You might not even run it so full, but you can run the Q8, no problem, and it's going to be basically the same. A lot of these guys say the Q6s are just as good as the 8s. So, like, I mean, come on. You're talking about 8 billion parameters anyways, whereas like ChatGPT is like 500, 450, 500 billion. So when you're talking about the size of your chatbot, these are babies, okay? But they're still fun, and they can do a lot of things, and you can, these unbiased ones are nice. You can, so what I'll do is, like, say I need to get a not safe for work prompt, or I want to have a conversation that ChatGPT is not willing to have. Let's go get one of these, and they have enough base knowledge that they can help you out with what you want to find. One of the ones I like these gothic horror ones. Here, like Gothic Maid. I think there's here's Gothic Horror Girls. Let's see. So, oh, that's a Laura for images. Okay, but you find these different ones, and they have different personalities. So, like, they're trained. What they do when they train these things is they take, say, like a whole bunch of books. Here, I like this one, the Steth Novade Blackroot Grand Horror. This is a great model. So what they do is they train it on a bunch of books, okay, and they train it on a bunch of books, on a whole bunch of styles of speaking. So then when you talk with it, it talks back to you. So, like, you know, if you're talking with the Blackroot Grand Horror, it's going to be more morose. It's going to, if you ask it to write a story, it's going to be darker, you know, that kind of stuff. So this is a fun one I like to play around with too. And usually you can role play with all of these, or ask them to write you a story, whatever. So all we're going to be doing is we're going to be loading that bad mamma jamma. We're going to be downloading it, loading up our Kobold CPP, and just play with it. Great way to start. Mine's still loading because I guess it's taking forever because I've got all this AI stuff. So I can't quite show you what it is. But that's your task for the week. All right. Get that, play with that, enjoy it. You can spaz out later and get into using your SillyTavern. But to be honest, you don't really need SillyTavern unless you're like, I mean, again, if I was young again and I had all the time in the world, I'd do SillyTavern. But it's the kind of thing where you're really just kind of spazzing out and spending a lot of time thinking about your stuff, which I just don't have that kind of time. So I like KoboldCPP, and you can, I wish it would load up here. I'm trying to pull down some resources so you can see it a little bit better. So it'll load a little faster. But with it, you can do all the same thing. You could even get in here if you really want to freak out. Maybe we'll work on that in the future. You can set variables for your bots to follow. I don't know why this isn't loading. But you can set variables. You can set all sorts of stuff that triggers it. You can actually load in image models that will go ahead and generate images in the middle of your story, which is kind of cool. We're playing with one now. There's a branch off of it that actually is getting into more like trying to be an AI agent. So you can say, like, create an image, and then it'll just create it, and then you can say change the image. So, you know, it's coming along. But anyway, so there you go. That is it. That is your quest for the week, your holy quest, your Knights of the Round Table quest. All right, let's go to our comments here before we. This has been a spazzy Q&A or weekly thing. Let's see what we got. Okay, how about a Phantom install tutorial? So we're working on the Phantom install Phantom video. That is this over here, or maybe it's actually over here. Oh, this is funny. I've been playing with this thing. There's this new thing with ChatGPT that people are doing. They take a single image, and then you see it started here, and then they have it. They say to ChatGPT, "Don't change anything. Just recreate it exactly as it is." And over time, you see ChatGPT starts to change it. So I think I'm on like image 24 right now. So you guys can do that. That's kind of a fun thing to play with. All right, anyway, let's see if we can find the Phantom. KoboldCPP. Phantom video. GitHub. There it is. Okay, so I actually did create an installer for this is the actual just command line inference thing. But again, when these things come out, they're for people that they're for a lot higher GPU. So we always have to wait for we just have to wait for KeyJai to come out with his workflow. So I am going to look at a workflow that Nigel over here sent to us, and we'll try to get out something this week so we can at least play with this in Comfy UI. So that'd be cool. Yeah, if you could do something like that. That's going to take a lot of processing, but it would be very, if we could do it. So we'll play around with this. You guys can play around with this as well. Like I said, this is the repo. I haven't been able to do anything with it. It's just too big. But I'm going to play with the workflow probably when we get done with this video. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so bro, you look so charismatic. I heard for small, okay, point Avergo's going back to the chat stuff. I heard for smaller models, the quants negatively affect it more than large models. So a Q4 for 32B is fine, but for 4B models, it's more destructive. Okay, so yeah, what he's talking about is when we get over here to this stuff. So this is a 13 or 16 billion parameter model. I would have to take it down to like a 6 or a 5 to run this on my machine. But what he's saying is you get down to these smaller quants. Let's find one that's easier to see. When you get to the smaller quants, it has a negative effect. And we've talked about that. Here we go. Like Q3, Q2. And the reason is because you're cutting off, you're actually making it less precise. You're cutting off decimal points. So you're saying, here is the model and it takes up this much space. And you're like, well, my computer can't handle that much. So, okay, well, let's make it this small. And it's basically the same, but we cut off decimal points. And so the reason why a larger model you could cut it and still get it is because it's still trained on 4 or 5 times more data. So even though you're cutting it down smaller, you still have a larger base of data that you're dealing with. When you get these smaller models, they're baby models, and then you're cutting them, you're cutting them, and it's having a larger effect on it. Honestly, if you're running an 8 billion parameter model and you're doing it at a quant 2, it's kind of like, why bother? You should probably go down to a 6 billion parameter thing. I mean, if it's all you can do, then do it. But I'm just saying, like, at some point you get a number that's so small, you quant it so small that it doesn't do anything. And it's the same thing when we deal with image software. So if you've ever played with say like a Hunyuan or something, and you get a quant that's so low, you make stuff and you generate it, and you get like extra arms, or the hands are all messed up, right? I mean, you can't figure the hands, but if you go to a higher quant, the hands are fine. And that's the same reason, because the precision is getting so out of balance that it can't generate the stuff. Okay, so that's the answer to that. Okay, this guy says something about, I look like Trump, or I look like Elvis. I look like Trelvis. Okay, this guy says, I get triple the tokens for the new Quinn 3.3 billion on LM Studio versus on Olama. Cool. So LM Studio is a great thing as well. It's a much bigger application, and I mean, it's fine. Let's see here. We got a picture of it. We talked about this here just a few weeks ago. And you can download stuff directly from Hugging Face. One of the things with this is I think it doesn't have the depth of models that you can get, although you could probably download it. And it's big. You know me, I like command line stuff. I like KoboldCPP. It's just a little bit easier. Oh, here, this finally popped up. You know, it's like big corporate looking thing, which is great. Don't get me wrong, great app. You know, versus a nice little easy. Hey there, how's your day going? Great. Can you tell me a dirty limerick about AI? Why don't AIs get lost? Because they always follow the algorithmic cost. Okay, that isn't even stupid. That's not even a good limerick. But this is fun. Okay, so you can change your context over here. You know, you are a Pirate Valley girl who speaks with a lisp. Hi, sir. You know, that kind of thing. Yo, what you need on this fine day? Okay, so fun to play with. You can do stuff up here. They've got scenarios you can play with. I like KoboldCPP. Download yourself. This obviously isn't a great model. It's not doing exactly what I want to do, but you go get that Grand Horror one and play with it. Ask it to tell you a story. Tell me a dark story. I don't know if this model is going to do it. This model here that I grabbed for this, it's this one. It's called Ouroboros, and the only reason I did it is because I'm playing around with the AI agent stuff. You know, create me an image, give me a dice roll. So it's not. This isn't really a chat thing. This is more of an instruction following model. Okay. I don't understand what the instruct mode is. Okay, yeah, so instruct has more to do with actually trying to get it to do a task. So you're saying, I want you to do this, and then do this, and then do this. So again, like the AI agents app that or version of this that I'm playing with, you could say, create an image for me, change the image, give me a die roll, choose between these three things. And so it's really, they're designed to follow orders. Okay, so that's what the instruct mode does. So you can play around, find what works for you. Generally, I think when we go to our settings, you know, you just want chat mode or you want story mode. I mean, whatever, you know. Let's go to chat mode and see if it actually changes this up. Tell me a story about a dog and a cat on a space adventure. Okay, look at that. And that actually, so I went into chat mode and all of a sudden it actually gave me a better thing than instruct mode. See, so it was designed that when you're speaking to it in certain instruct mode, it's going to do a thing. And it all has to do with these things that are called tags. So underneath the thing, it's doing stuff. I mean, this isn't exactly right, but this is the idea. So like in instruct mode, it might be saying like, you know, user, you know, blah, 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 blah. Agent, blah, 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 blah. It's the way it encodes the information going in. Whereas maybe this is like, you know, user response, you know, response. So it's just different tags that it is programmed to respond differently to. But notice in instruct, I couldn't get a good answer. Clicked over to chat mode. Boom, gold. Okay, and this is all in KoboldCPP. And it's the same with llama.cpp. When you get into llama.cpp and you're looking at the instructions, all that, they have different ways to get into instruct mode or chat mode. KoboldCPP is based off of llama CPP. So honestly, it's like, I love llama CPP because I really like command line stuff. But at the end of the day, if I just want to go beat up on a chatbot, which is kind of my personal chatbot's what they're there for. They're boxing things. They're like I can't be mean to people, but I can be mean to a chatbot. So I'll get a chatbot and abuse it, you know, that kind of thing. But then I do all my big work on like ChatGPT and stuff like that because I haven't found that the smaller models are really great for production stuff. And it's honestly just so much easier to just type in chat.openai. But you can role play, you can do stuff with this that you can't do with ChatGPT. And you can have conversations that you can't have with ChatGPT. Okay, so I think we'll probably end it there. I'll come back. I obviously missed Monday because I was traveling. So I don't know if we'll do a live Q&A tomorrow. I probably should, just to stay on schedule. We can come back if you guys have any questions. Maybe we'll just keep it short. Try to have something to actually show you guys. Oh, head on over to Reddit again, and we're trying to get the Get Going Fast page up and running. So we actually do have a Reddit page over here where we're posting stuff, but there's like 4 of us. So I guess we got 19 members. Okay, well, that's good. But come on over and post some stuff on there, and let's make it active, and we'll be like the better part of Reddit. Like we'll actually be like, hey, good job, or hey, that's not the greatest, but whatever. A lot of jerks out there. I mean, you just post. I swear, you could post the Mona Lisa, and they would be like, "What? You just post just a lady in a chair." They're just jerks. So they just look at it and they just downvote it. We ain't gonna do that. So come over here and be part of that with us and help us build the community. And who knows? Maybe you'll get famous. Maybe you'll be like Oystein over here. Be like Fidalkun. You become like the Viking legend that he has become. So. Okay, I'm going to see any last questions. Doesn't look like we got any last questions. Back over here. I don't think there's anything more to look at over here. Our frame pack, we'll try to get on the Phantom stuff. Yeah. Okay, you guys have a good rest of your day. And if you do have any questions, come hit me up on the Discord. I'd be happy to help you out. As you're learning stuff too, help other people. So a lot of people have questions. Share what you've learned. If you are helping someone and you need some help in the midst of it, hit me up and say, hey, I'm helping this guy, but I'm not sure about this one thing. It's always better to like really be open with people and be like, I think, or I'm not exactly sure, because you don't want to be that guy where you ask him, say, how do I get to the McDonald's over here? And he gives you the wrong direction, but he gives them to you confidently. You're like, oh, well, he must know what he's talking about. So don't be that guy. If you really know what you're doing with this stuff, hit me up. I'd love to, I'll add you as a moderator. I'm always looking for new moderators that can take over different stuff, and you'll give you free subscription. But I need you to, I'm really particularly looking for someone who actually knows the in and outs of troubleshooting and stuff like that. So you come in, I'd love to have you. All right, in the meanwhile, thank you guys for showing up. Be well, be good to each other, and I guess we will catch you on the